Greetings. This is Master Nigel, or Nigel Henry, and today I'm doing my first live broadcast in the Corona era, I'd like to call it. And my intention in having these broadcasts is to basically start the Greatness Activation Show, which will be in the form of a podcast or live broadcast, YouTube channel, etc. And my intention is to speak to the greatness that exists in human beings and to engage in live activational conversations that will cause the activation of the greatness that exists in people, and it will manifest in itself as results, changing conditions, dealing with issues in a way that reveals greatness. So in this first show, my intention is just to provide general background about myself, about the concept of activation, and the idea, the intention, the mission of greatness activation itself. This topic may resonate with only a few people and may be, others may find it disturbing or unrealistic. Either way, the conversation is to be had, and I would encourage anyone that's watching to interact and typing something in the chat and let me know what you're thinking, and I will respond. Also, to the extent that you'd like to work with me or allow me to work with you, or you'd like a free consultation or free complimentary sessions to experience your greatness being activated, then I recommend that you go to my website at greatnessactivation.com/connect, and there you have the option of just either scheduling a time to talk with me or scheduling your own complimentary session where we can do some real work. So in my practice, I like to start sessions by what we call blessing in. And so I'm going to do a mini prayer where I'm going to bless in the session and invite the divine to direct me and anyone that is watching live in the show. So as I close my eyes, I center my attention on my breathing, and I allow all my desires, anxieties, concerns to fall away. And I invite whoever is watching this live, to join me in being centered, being still, and bring the attention to the breath, that which indicates the presence of life in my temple. And knowing that this breath is flowing in and out of my temple, I enter this conversation in the spirit of gratitude. Gratitude for the gift of life. Gratitude for the opportunity to be a contributor of life to life. Gratitude for the gifts that are installed in my temple. Gratitude for the value that flows through me and through my temple. Gratitude for my connection to the divine presence, the sun, nature, that is constantly gifting itself to me and through me. So with this awareness that I am a channel, a temple, a vessel for the flow of extreme valuable gifts, I give thanks and release any concerns and invite inspiration. And so it is. Amen. And whatever is true for me is true for all human beings. Okay, welcome. Feel much better now. So once again, I invite anyone to who's interested in interacting with me to post in the chat and provide your input. The fundamental framework concept of the greatness activation methodology principles is that all people are born from a single blueprint of greatness. And what that means is that there's only really one blueprint for human beings, and that blueprint is greatness. And it has no limit except for the limits that I place on it in my mind. Just getting a text coming in here. And the amount of limitation I place on this expression of greatness is determined by my mind, and my mind's limitation is set by the programming environment that I have been raised in and that I continue to entertain in my life. Let me just check that I'm live on Facebook here. I think so. Basically, I'm live on greatnessactivation.com if you'd like to see me there. I may have to go onto my main Facebook page, but for now, I'm just going to continue with this live on my greatness activation page. Anyway, so what I found is from my work is that human beings are basically, well, let's just say it this way. The highest expression of greatness is what I call an angel. An angel is a being that is incarnated here on earth and represents the blueprint in its highest expression. As soon as I enter this life on earth here, then I'm downgrading from being the angel, and depending on how much downgrading is occurring in my mind will determine what state of human being I live in. And there are several states. The highest state or mindset is called the state of flourishing. And then the next state is the state of survival. And the next state, the state of striving. And the next state is the state of surviving. And the next state is the state of survival. And then below surviving is dying. Now, in the future broadcasts, I will be repeating this and providing some graphics to illustrate what I'm saying. The main point I'm making here is that we have, depending on the state of mind, there are options in what state I get to experience life. And I can either experience it in the highest state, which is flourishing, or in the lower state, which is surviving and dying. You might be wondering, where is Nigel getting all this from? And this could be a good point to just give some background about me. As far as my roots, I was born in London, and I grew up from Jamaican parentage. And when I was about two years old, I was sent to Jamaica to live with my grandparents. And I stayed there till I was 10. And then I came back to London and I met my maternal mother and father for the first time. And that arrival in London was like an awakening. I literally became aware that I was thinking. And so I ended up studying software engineering at London University and went on to engage in the .com information technology. And that brought me to California, where I was engaged in software engineering in the early 90s up until the year 2000, when I was involved in the Y2K project. And during that Y2K project, it was about removing a bug that was about to shut down the computers, the legacy computers. And once the bug is removed, then computers were able to function according to the intention of the original intention of the programmers and designers. That period gave me an inspiration that maybe human beings were designed for greatness, and the reason why we were not demonstrating that in abundance is because there was probably a bug interfering with the human mind, and it is causing us to downgrade, malfunction, and behave in this lesser state than we were designed to be. So I went off, I quit my software engineering job and decided to go off to pursue a journey to discover the bug that is interfering with the greatness of humans. And in a few months, I actually found it. And I found that bug. And by the way, you can, if you want to learn more about the bug and discovery, you can go to my website, greatnessactivation.com/connect. greatnessactivation.com/connect. And as I was saying that, I discovered this bug. And it turns out the bug is a word that is in the English language, it's in all languages I expect. But what it does, it starts to affect the way that the mind works. And when this word bug exists in my mind, or arrives in my mind a little bit like the coronavirus, when it enters the temple, it starts to compromise the functions of the temple, the functions of the mind. Hold on a second, I'm getting some messages about my broadcast. Let me just check if I'm live. One second, I'm just connecting, making sure that my broadcast is live here. And so if you would like to see this live, then my Facebook page is Greatness Activation. Yes, Nigel Henry at Greatness Activation. Human Greatness Activation. So I think you should be able to see me there. I'm going to continue. So as I was saying, I basically discovered a mental virus, which is a word, and I'll just say it right now. It's the word not. And normally, or in the word not in itself has implications as long as I'm aware that I'm using it. When this word is used without awareness, what it does, it starts to interfere with the normal mechanism of the mind, which causes it to do a lot of strange things, like slowing down, like I'm probably experiencing that bug right now, creates a withholding of the flow of wisdom. It causes interference with my mental processing. There's a lot of side effects of this bug on my mind. If anyone's out there, if you can comment in the chat, that would be great, so I can get some feedback of how I'm doing here. Either way, one second, I'm just checking my, how am I doing? Yes, so the bug, it interferes with the normal functioning of the human temple and can cause us to have the experience of downgrading, operating with lower levels of consciousness, lower levels of awareness, lower levels of activation. And as what I've discovered is that as I engage in my mastery practices, which I'll be sharing over the coming weeks, then I become more aware of what is going on in my mind, and I become more aware of the limitations that I've been entertaining, whether they come in from my external environment or whether they're recurring in my regurgitative thinking. Either way, once I become aware of what's happening in my mind, I'm able to take charge of my mind and allow more of my natural greatness to begin to express itself. And in that expression, I'm able to contribute more value to the planet, and more value comes out of me. So one of the fundamental principles of the greatness activation movement, the greatness activation methodology, is that value comes out of me. I am born as a giver. Each human being is a temple, a vessel through which gifts flow out. I know that there's a concept and widely accepted point of view that human beings are givers and receivers. And that's the first distinction I'd like to make, is that human beings are transmitters. We are radiant beings. The source flows into us and through us, and then it flows out of us as gifts, expressions, talents. And when that gift flows out of us into another being, what it does, it activates the flow, more flow in each person. So to the extent that everyone is giving or allowing themselves to radiate and transmit, then it will affect and cause each person to glow and transmit. Now, thank you. I see an angel has joined us, Angel Karen. Karen, thank you for your feedback. And so, as I was saying, one of the errors that's been caused by the mental virus is that human beings or angels now who have been downgraded as humans, the downgrade is because we start believing that we're here to receive. We're takers. We're consumers. We are here to get wisdom and get knowledge and get things and take in. And I can, with careful observation, one will see that the more that I take in is the more unhealthy I become mentally and physically. And the more I put out is the more value and impact I'm having in the world. And from a physical standpoint, my body is healthier the more that it's putting stuff out. And from a mental standpoint, my mind is clearer and I get more inspiration the more I'm giving and allowing flow through me. So that's one of the principles that we're going to explore and develop through this series. Another impact of being aware of the virus, the mental virus, is that I will start reversing some of my thinking. I'll find that most of what I was thinking was the opposite of what the original intention was. Or said a different way, when I start reversing my thinking from the way that I was programmed to think, otherwise known as normalization, I will start seeing the world differently. I'll start seeing opportunities. Certain thoughts, words will start disappearing from my awareness, and I'll see things that was previously hidden from me. The other thing is we'll start, what was previously seen as a problem, an issue, or a concern will now be seen as a great opportunity and a vision and new possibilities. So as an illustration of that, one of the things we're going to be doing in the next few down the road as I warm up in the show is to take concerns and literally convert them into business, and personal opportunities, to take concerns, real everyday problems, and convert them into visions and financial opportunities. So I'm going to invite you, if you'd like to participate as being a live candidate working with me to model these principles, you go to greatnessactivation.com/connect. And there you can schedule a complimentary session where I can work with you one-on-one to help you deal with any issue you're working with right now. Or we can arrange for you to come on the show where I can work with you and model some of these principles that I'll be revealing. Another expected benefit or concept that we'll be dealing with here on the Greatness Activation show is the idea of the gifts of negative emotions. Right now, in the current climate of the coronavirus and the social distancing that's happening, many people are dealing with change, and that change can trigger a lot of emotions or disturbance, both mentally, physically, and emotionally. And a lot of people are still running on the old programming that emotions are negative. And in the concept of the Greatness Activation show, emotions are actually gifts. Emotions are the dashboard of our temple. They're directly connected to the physical body, but they're very informative, and there's an intelligence in each emotion. And so I'll be breaking down each of the emotions, starting with the gift of anger, the gift of frustration, gift of overwhelm, the gift of sadness, the gift of jealousy, and the gift of shame. All of these emotions are probably stirring up somewhere in our temple, and it will be a great opportunity for us to use them while they're currently stirring up in our temple and leverage their gifts so that we can start demonstrating the greatness that we are as human beings and unleashing the true blueprint within us, which is the angel temple. Let's see, it's 4:25. I think I'm going to spend another 5 more minutes talking, and then I'm going to bless us out and get us ready for tomorrow. So once again, if you'd like to participate in the show as a live guest, I'd like to invite you to go to greatnessactivation.com/connect and set up a complimentary session, in which case we'll discuss and resolve any of the issues or concerns that you have. And I'm inviting you to join me in some of these live broadcasts so that you can begin to model and experience the greatness that you are, and we can start setting up some models for individuals on the planet. Excellent. We have one guest beautiful Angel, who is watching and participating in this first show. Angel Karen, I'd like to give a special blessing for her. So where was I? So we'll be looking at another thing I'll be introducing to help to explain what I'm doing and to convey more the new paradigm is a concept called the 4 realms. And I'm just going to explain them now in this intro program. And then I will be demonstrating it with video or presentation graphics in other shows. The 4 realms, basically the human being or the angel can be expressed as 4 realms. The highest realm is called the spiritual realm. It's where the blueprint is. It's where we interact with our DNA. It's where we connect with source. It's the essence of who we are. And that is what we call the source realm, the spiritual realm. And then another realm which is directly connected to the spiritual realm is the mental realm. This is where most of the recognition happens. This is like the central realm that interacts with the other two realms, which I'll bring up in a minute. And the mental realm is also where the idea of the mind lives and all the thinking that's going on. This is where we become cognizant that we're alive. This is where also a lot of subconscious programming and conscious programming occurs. This is the area where the virus lives and can determine our expression of reality. So there'll be a lot of the work will be about dealing with the mental realm. And not the next realm is the physical realm, the hardware, I like to call it in software engineering terms. The mental realm is like the software. The physical realm is the hardware, where the body, where we express things in 3 dimensions, where we know we exist because we have 5 senses, feel, touch. This is where thought converts into action. And I won't be spending too much time on the physical realm because that area is really where most of the human beings have expertise in the 3-dimensional realm. The next realm, which is connected to the physical, is the emotional realm, which is also connected to the mental realm. And I'll show the relationship between those realms in the next sessions that we have. But either way, there's a connection between the spiritual, the mental, and the physical and the emotional. And the emotional realm is where I'll be spending a lot of time in the upcoming sessions, because there is where a lot of the misunderstanding is happening. And we're emotional beings, but we also have a mental dimension. And when these two interact and there's virus running in the mental realm, we can get what we call dysfunction of the human being. So with that said, I'd like to thank you. And let me summarize by saying the intention of these lives is to introduce the Greatness Activation. I'm going to call it the Greatness Activation Show for now. And I'm going to allow myself to share some of the works, the practices, the distinctions, the tools with you, my live audience. And I'll be inviting people to join me on the show so that we can interact and experience some of these sessions. We'll be dealing with current live situations and opportunities, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, the intention is that we'll be activating the great ones to start expressing ourselves in the world. So if you know that you are a great one, you know that you're called in this life to make and to be a massive beneficial presence, then this is the right show. This is the show for you. Please join me in the next session. My intention is to have these lives roughly around 4 p.m. each day. And if there's any changes, I'll let you know. But thank you for joining me on this first show and being patient with me as I get my curriculum, get it together. I'd like to give a special shout and acknowledgement to the angel Corin, who joined me on this first show. And I look forward to sharing more. And once again, if you'd like to participate with me or get access to some of these tools, distinctions, and practices that I'll be sharing, go to greatnessactivation.com/connect. So I'm going to bless out now and then bid you goodbye. So as I come to the end of this live, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be of service. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak. I'm grateful for the gift of speech. I'm grateful for the light that is shining in and through and as me. I'm grateful for the divine presence that is in each being. I'm grateful for all the great ones, the angels, the masters, the master teachers who are joining us in these broadcasts. I'm grateful for our combined activation and for our ability to make a massive beneficial difference on the planet, especially in these times in this time of great opportunity. And so it is. Amen. So, thank you for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow.